Hi, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to Managing Interdepartmental Process Changes, specifically our best practices for that. My name is Kathy Lewandowski, and I am the Customer Success Manager here with RoboHead. I'd like to thank you for being here. Please use the chat to ask questions and engage. For more entries to win prizes, review us on G2. If you have questions about how to do that, go to the lobby info desk. And then recordings will be available after this session. Just see the agenda for access to that. So I am looking forward to doing this session. It's come up quite a bit this year, I find, and I have my suspicions as to why, which we'll get to. It's the last bullet point, but I do want to just walk through how to make bigger changes in RoboHead, not the little day-to-day ones, but if you're looking at evaluating your processes, how do you go about doing that? So, a couple of the reasons that people do come to us when it's time for them to reevaluate a lot of their workflows, their forms, those kinds of things. There's many different reasons. So, the first one is obviously, I do think this is an obvious one, a change in team members. So, there's your team has turnover, there's new people coming in, there's people leaving. So, those processes sometimes can get lost, if you will, as new team members are coming in, who's training them, what process do they use? And as we're all aware within RoboHead, it's wonderful because there's more than one way to do everything, but sometimes that can kind of muddy the process, if you will. Maybe you have a situation, another group in your organization wants to use RoboHead in your RoboHead instance. I've had that come up also this year. How do you incorporate them into your RoboHead account? So that's a good reason that all of you have to again look at that and figure out how to update your process and change and workflows. Consolidation of tools within your organization. It's budget time. I know everybody gets pressure for trying. Why do you need this tool? We already have a project management tool. There's lots of reasons for it. It can be a merger, it can be an acquisition, or it can be budget time. Evolution of the type of work that your team produces. So again, there's always an evolution in the type of work and in technology. So based on that, it would make sense that when those changes start to evolve, that's when it's definitely time to reevaluate your processes. And then the big one, we're still feeling the effects of this, but the pandemic and that new work from home option. So that was a big one, right? Again, everybody was switching how they were working. That created new processes in a very quick time frame, and making sure that everything works together. So hopefully we don't have one of those again, but I know a lot of us are going through that work from home and people hybriding and working from all over different places. So this is a good time to maybe go in and evaluate that. So, how do you begin to assess your needs and implement into RoboHead? The first thing that I would suggest here as a good practice is just identify who the RoboHead leader is. That can be the person who, going forward, is the person who's kind of your RoboHead go-to. They're going to keep up with the enhancements that we have and those. Things, but also you could just identify your RoboHead leader during this time of doing the evaluations basically and assessments of what you need to do and then who's going to actually make those updates and changes. So once you've identified the leader, definitely ask your team some of these questions. What do you need to know in order to start or complete a project assignment? That's definitely one thing. If you're not getting that information to kick it off right away, then we need to change some of those questions on your forms. So keep that in mind. Ask them that. Do I have specific metrics or data that leadership requests about work from me and my team? So at the front end of a project, what do I need to do in order to complete the project? But at the end of the project, what do I need? What do I want to track information on? What does leadership want to see about the work that we're doing? Verify those fields of information that your team is using or information needed to help speed up the turnaround time of the work. So again, it's getting that team buy-in from the beginning. What do you need to know? And is the information there? Does this work for you? Is it a drop down? Is it a multi-select? Uh, is everything there that I need? Who This is a great one, I think, and I really like this question specifically. Go to your team. Who and what is your team emailing requesters of the work for information about the jobs? So, what are those email conversations about? And if it's gathering more information, what is the information that you need? We should definitely add that to the form. So, just a roundabout way of asking that same question. So once you've kind of assessed the forms, you might need to make the changes. So this is where you're actually going to review the project form. For those of you that have a request form, you can also, work between the two forms as you're aware. But are the needed fields on the form? That's number one. Are all of the options within the fields up to date? Again, things change and they change quickly. So just it's frustrating if the options aren't the right options, then people, who knows what they pick um, when they're filling out that project form or that request form. So definitely review those, and do they make sense? I mean, maybe it's just changing up the word from one to another. So things like that, just double check that. And then which fields can we eliminate from the form? So which fields are collecting information that's just not needed? Again, it's another field of information somebody feels like they have to fill out, but you don't need it. So if you can make your forms smaller, shorter, for those people using them, that will help out, and just be more user friendly. So when we talk about eliminating fields from the form, I did want to just highlight, you do not delete fields. Just as a best practice, you can create a section on your form for obsolete fields. You can then move those eliminated fields into that section within the form. The section is hidden. You can make it hidden so nobody will see that information, but you will see in the reporting module, it still has those fields are available to add to a form. So any of that data that was entered in that field previously, you can still report on it. You still have access to it. And again, just reach out to support if you have any questions on forms and making changes to them. They're there to help, and they're really good at it. So, evaluating workflows. And when we're talking workflows, as soon as that project is created, what happens and how do you get it completed? So, what is your current workflow? Does it work? That's the next question. Are you finding consistent issues in your workflows? That's one of the big questions. If you're finding, there are two or three spots that always seem to lag behind and are always overdue, those are the spots to take some extra time and look at. Maybe this is a situation where you need to split those tasks into smaller tasks. Or maybe this is where you actually need to combine tasks because whomever's assigned to that task, they aren't interested in marking 3 tasks complete, or they wait until they're done with it, things like that, just to kind of think about. Reviews, same thing. I find that comes up a lot, especially if you're sending reviews to clients. They have a due date, but maybe they're not looking at the due date. So just keep that in mind as well. And then we can look at how to improve the flow in that particular area that's consistently delayed. Again, are you utilizing tasks? How are you utilizing tasks? Are they too granular? Can they be combined? Reviews. Are you using reviews? Are you tracking that information here within RoboHead? Again, all of that is important. And then you've got templates. And so both tasks and reviews you can put on a template. So if you have the same or repetitive types of projects, generally those tasks and reviews are typically the same. So you can use a template again. Once you've created that project, you're good to go. Now, within that, if you're looking for a way to gain more visibility and your teams to have visibility, we do have an option for groups and categories. So if you want to break part of those tasks out into another grouping, you can do that by taking advantage of groups and categories. Again, if you have questions on that, you can certainly reach out to us. Do you have standard reviews and are they set up in your templates? I think that reviews, if you are not putting those in the templates and templatizing whatever you can, they take a while to load in for your designers because those forms, there's a lot, there's information, there's quite a bit there. So I would just suggest as much as you can standardize in your reviews and then put those on the templates. It will make it easier for everybody. And then this last one is just thinking about those very manual tasks in RoboHead. And can you do some of that through RoboScripts? So RoboScripts is a way within RoboHead to create some automations, and we have lots of opportunities for it. It can be based on project status, task status, or tasks. We've got RoboScripts available for that, campaigns, reviews as well. So if you, after you've looked at your workflow and you've come up with areas where there are some issues, this is where we can start to explore some of those RoboScripts. So the example that I really like to use for RoboScripts is going to be archiving projects. So many times we would go into accounts during an advanced training situation, and the projects haven't been archived even though they've been completed. We've had a group who made it very clear after this RoboScript came out to archive a project once it's complete. They saved 40 hours every year. At the end of the year, he would spend a week going through and just archiving projects. So this is a way that you can save time for yourself, for your project managers. You build it into a RoboScript. Once a project status is updated to complete, archive my project. Things like that. So it's meant to take some of the manual work out. So think of it that way. And then just know that using RoboScripts, it's going to create some efficiencies. Maybe you have a situation, and we have found this, a lot of your task assignees, they will have a task. They will see that that task is there. They will go ahead and work on the task and they'll just mark it complete. They're not using the in progress. So the communication, the visibility into where the project is at is a little harder to find. Also, you're not seeing with accuracy when those particular tasks are actually being worked on and completed. So keep that in mind. You know, you can set up a RoboScript. When this task is marked complete, I'd like to mark the next task to in progress. And that just lets, it's a way of, again, indirectly communicating with your task assignees that they can now begin work on that if they wanted to, if they're not using those email notifications from task dependencies, things like that. So again, there's all kinds of options with RoboScripts, but start to kind of think about it in that way. And then again, like I said, it'll create efficiencies in time as well as data reporting. So I think that's a big one. Your data is going to be a little tighter. You know, if it truly reflects when a task has been complete, you're going to be able to, you know, have that information there and act and report on it, whether metrics or however you're looking at that. So I want to move into how can RoboHead help? So we offer services. We can do form rebuilding for you if you'd like to pay us. If you give us the information, then we can go ahead and rebuild the forms. That takes a lot of time sometimes. Templates as well. If you give us the information on the templates, we're happy to build those for a fee. Just let us know. Retraining your team for updated workflows. So one thing I want to say about this and training, I find every couple years is when teams have really changed, and this might be a good time to retrain your team, especially if you've got a new process. We can help you do that. We're set up to do that. We're happy to do it. We can even go on site now that we have the ability to go ahead. We can come on site. I know teams are looking for opportunities to team build or to get together since so many are working from homes. You can go ahead and set that up, and we're happy to come to you and train your team. Finding automations that might lighten your load. Again, that's looking for RoboScripts, and that might lead into integrations as well. We have a couple different options for that. And if the integrations aren't working, but it's something that your team really wants, we do offer custom development. That's something we need to look at. If it's not something that will benefit users, all users, then it becomes a custom dev, and we just have to make sure that that works with our tool and our goals for our tool. So just reach out to support, and you will be directed to the right resource for your team with any questions that you might have. Up next is resource utilization and workforce planning with Jobs Ohio. I will be in that session, so I'll see you soon. But we also have Angie Migliozzi from Jobs Ohio, and she is their senior traffic manager, and she'll be speaking to how they're using it. So thank you very much.